Dharma Bites is brought to you by Free Buddhist Audio, the Dharma for your life. Our work is funded entirely by donations from our generous listeners. If you would like to help us keep this free, make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. Thank you, and happy listening.
So there are three suttas that I'm going to use. And firstly, I just want to take the example of the relationship of the Buddha with one of his disciples, Angulimala. So there's a sutta called the Angulimala Sutta from the Majjhima Nikaya. And it's a well-known sutta, and I've seen various sort of interpretations of this sutta. But the thing I want to go into from the sutta is just the aspect of Sangha that's about being deeply honest with each other and really sort of having that opportunity to show ourselves to each other deeply, warts and all. And the opportunity that others can see our potential if we really show ourselves. So if you don't know this sutta, Angulimala is a serial killer. He's described as murderous, bloody-handed, given to blows and violence, merciless to living beings. Villages and towns were laid waste by him. He was constantly murdering people, and he wore their fingers as a garland. That's what his name means, is garland of fingers. So you can almost see his sort of wicked moustache and him twirling his wicked moustache in that description. In the sutta, you get the story of the Buddha who's in Savatthi, and he's been on his arms round his collected food, and he's eats his food and then sets down his bowl and robe, and then sets out on the road to walk. But the locals around him are all warning the Buddha not to go down this path because they know that Angulimala is around, and they're really fearful that Angulimala will kill the Buddha. But the Buddha just ignores them and walks on in silence. And then Angulimala spots the Buddha walking down the road, and Angulimala is overjoyed that the Buddha is coming down his way and relishes the fact that here's the opportunity that Angulimala can kill this awakened being. And then there's this remarkable passage in the sutta where the Buddha walks at his normal pace and Angulimala is running and running to try and catch up with the Buddha, but just can't catch up with him. And Angulimala sort of shouts to the Buddha to stop. And the Buddha says, Angulimala, I have stopped forever. I abstain from violence towards living beings. But you have no restraint towards things that live. That is why I have stopped and you have not. And then Angulimala stops too and has this great realization. And he says, oh, at long last, this recluse, a venerated sage, has come to this great forest for my sake. Having heard your stanza teaching me the Dharma, I will indeed renounce evil forever. And so saying, the bandit took his sword and weapons and flung them in a gaping chasm's pit. The bandit worshipped the Sublime One's feet and then and there asked for the going forth. So I find that passage just really remarkable and just really beautiful. And I think what I find most striking about that passage is this sense that the Buddha has seen Angulimala very deeply indeed. He's seen him on the deepest level. He's seen very clearly the suffering that Angulimala is causing both to himself and to others. That Angulimala is just so full of craving and hatred, both for himself and other people, that he's really eaten up by that, and that's why he is killing so many people. And I think importantly, the Buddha sees Angulimala's potential, and his potential to stop and go beyond his unskillfulness. It's a very profound seeing by the Buddha, and Angulimala responds to that profound seeing. He's able to stop by being seen so deeply. I think it's a very tender response from the Buddha towards Angulimala. And I do think this is a really important aspect of Sangha as a practice and friendship as a practice, is the opportunity it gives us to be really deeply seen by others and to allow ourselves to show ourselves more deeply.
We hope you enjoyed today's Dharma Bite. Please help us keep this free. Make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. And thank you.